Go Celtics.
Hinges Creak is on YouTube, and Hinges Creak is on YouTube, and Hinges Creak is on YouTube, and Hinges Creak. Ho, ho, ho! Hinges Creak is on YouTube, and Hinges Creak is on YouTube, and Hinges Creak is on YouTube, and Hinges Creak.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the next episode of When Hinges Creak is on YouTube. Hey, hey, hey. Today's going to be kind of a short one. I'm going to kind of keep it sweet. Something popped up that I thought people might be interested in. It certainly kind of changed my perspective for the day. First and foremost, in the DFW industry, as far as haunted houses go, we're all very close friends. We vacation together, and I mean, we're the ones that we can count on if we really get in times of trouble. We don't view each other as competitors whatsoever. So the reason for this video is there's a show called Dark Hour. Alan Hops recently just bought it. He was creative director there, and then just recently bought it. And they actually had a very awesome off-season event last night that we went to. It was very cool, called Dead by Dark Hour. So do a little digging on that when you get a moment. It's definitely worth a watch. But recently they were doing some remodeling and restructuring and reorganizing, and they had some pallet racks. And they knew I had just gotten this warehouse that we were going to use as our production facility, and asked if we wanted them. And I said, sure. So we went over there and picked them up. And as we were unloading these, Kaylin, aka Dead Noodle from Dead Noodle FX, found this on one of the pallet racks and was kind of cracking up and was like, that's funny, and it is. But I looked at this and it instantly just made me sad, and I felt anxiety building in my body. And the reason why this stupid piece of paper with a 12-year-old middle school age joke on it had such a profound effect on me is before Dark Hour was Dark Hour, it was an Oshman's. And during the whole job crisis of 01 and 02, I worked there. I managed the warehouse there. And I hated that job. It was awful. I had just come off this long trek of being a musician at this recording studio, and none of it was really panning out. And I was working for this decorator, and Jennifer was having to cover all our bills, and I just wasn't bringing anything to the table. And it was time to make a change and kind of reevaluate. So I had to just take the first job that popped up. I remember it was a lot like prison. Nobody could find work. And I remember these highly qualified people who were putting footballs on shelves, and everyone had a story. It was like you'd meet somebody new and be like, hey, so what are you in for? They're like, oh, I was an IT tech, and the company folded, and all our stock is trash, and so yeah, now here I am. And sorry, I picked up a little bit of trans world sinusy, snotty coffee stuff. It's just about run its course, but I managed that warehouse, and I hated that job, and I wasn't really, that was the time in my life where I decided that I was just going to hell with it. I was throwing everything against it. I was committing myself to haunting. It was the kind of entertainment that utilized my skills best. It's where I felt like my heart belonged. It checked all my boxes, and I was ready to jump into it full force, but I had no idea what I was doing. I started very, very, very small, but my first thought when I saw this was it made me sad, just because I remember that time and how unhappy I was and how much I hated that job. But then immediately it was followed up with, look how much work you've gotten done since then, and look at the things you've managed to accomplish. And not that we're Rockefellers by any stretch of the imagination, or have the biggest show or the best attendance or anything like that, but we have managed to carve some sort of a living out of this industry. And 20 years ago, that almost would have been kind of a pipe dream. So I think it's kind of neat to see this 20 years later, because it's very definitely, the reason history is important is if you're here and you want to know where you're going, you don't know. But if you're here in the past and you're here now, then you can kind of assume that this is where you're going to end up. And this was one of those, here I am, here, there is where I came from to do all this. So thank you, Water Sports sticker. And I think I'm just going to hang on to this. And the whole point I'm trying to make today, obviously everyone's life path is completely different, but if you're ever feeling like maybe you're spinning your wheels, you haven't accomplished everything that you feel like you need to accomplish, look back just a little ways, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, and don't compare today to yesterday. Compare it to 20 years ago. What have you really done in this grand scheme of things? How much better of a person have you become? How much smarter or wiser are you now? Whatever it is. But every now and then, it's good to have these little reminders of where we've come from and everything that we've overcome. Thank you for the subscribing. We have 18.66 times the subscribers we've ever had as of this last week. Granted, at the time we had 3 subscribers, and our videos have gotten dozens and dozens of views. So pretty soon we're going to have a video that maybe 100 people watch. It'll never happen. Anyhow, stay tuned. We've got more stuff coming soon. Thank you all. Happy Super Bowl or whatever sports thing is happening today. Go Celtics.